Hi, I'm Chris. I wanted to make a video on GM tips, and then I found out that to do a video on GM tips and everything I would end up making a very long video, and each one of the tips I wanted to go in to, and they would be lacking. So I decided to break them up and make several videos, so it isn't several hours long or anything like that. Okay, so the first set of tips is decide a biome. Where are your people going to reside? Where are they going to start off? And now they can go to other places, but where do they start off? What's the weather like there? You're gonna have these things are gonna allow you to have role-playing factors, and it's gonna actually be able to allow you to immerse the characters into the actual game by having them feel where they're at. What are the predators that live there? What are the common problems that the locals are having? Are wolves, you know, big cats, crocodiles, you know, bears. What what nuisances lie in the area that are common problems? Stealing off the livestock or something like that. What is the type of fauna that live there? What type of plants are there? Any plants that have medicinal properties? Any plants that have that are good to eat, nutritious, taste good, poisons, well, what's there? What's common? Okay, what allies live in the area? Now, you don't really want to go too far in detail, but you may want to select a few, races that are nearby. Or I mean, they could be lizard people. They could be a lot of things. And I say lizard people because lizard people are neutral and they're not a huge problem if you know how to motivate them. So I mean, I'm one of those people that I'll take unconventional allies. I'll make unconventional allies in a game. I ran one game with my wife, and they had female goblins that escaped the goblins. If you know about the goblin ecology and everything, they basically keep them around as sex slaves and stuff like that. The female goblins escaped and everything, and they were just trying to survive. And so they were actually rather neutral. They just wanted to live and be left alone. And so I had a small village of female goblins and everything that were raising families and raising them in a different way than the conventional sense that goblins had survived over the years and everything by looting, raiding, and all that other stuff. What enemies live in the area? What foreign forces that can create problems? I mean, is there cave systems? Do goblins come up and attack? Do drows come up attack? Is there a problem with trolls out in the area? Is there an orc war party? That's near a war band that lives near there. You know, come up with a couple. You don't have to go into detail now and everything, but it's just good to know that they're there. And in case if anybody ever asks and everything, be like, yeah, we have these problems with these goblins and the trolls and the freaking orcs and everything. And I'll go more into detail in some of my other videos and everything about why it's even. Well, the hell with it. I'll do it now. You want reoccurring enemies, and by having reoccurring enemies, it allows the PCs to get emotionally invested with the people. One shots don't really do it. If they run into a dryad one time, they'll be like, okay, well, that's cool. I feel this way about the dryad because of this. But they were just an acquaintance that one time. If they keep running into the dryad over and over again, they're going to develop some type of feelings towards the dryad. Same thing with enemies. You keep running into orcs and everything all the time. Eventually, they're going to become pretty pissy towards the orcs and everything if the orcs are problematic. What natural hazards occur there? I meant, are you in the plains? Do you have a lot of tornadoes, lightning, flooding, snowstorms, avalanches, bad tropical storms? What natural hazards occur there? Is the quicksand, pitfalls, you know, you think it up and everything. As long as it makes sense, it's fine. Download a map for your area. You have your area, what it looks like to you, and start getting a feel for it, because you're going to want to put stuff on this map as you grow your area into something larger. Okay, create a town inside the area, and this is going to be your base of operations. This is where your guys work out of. What's the name of the town? How did it get the name that it has? You know, give the town give the town a feeling. You know what I mean? You know, when they come to this town, they it's just not town. You know what I mean? Give it a feeling. You know, by you know, right out the gate, giving it a name, give it a reason why it has its name, and what that represents. Create 5 NPCs. These 5 NPCs are going to be your go-to guys. They can exist within the town or on the borders of the town. They could be anywhere from a ranger that lives out in the woods to the local martial magistrate, to the barkeep, to a whore. You know what I mean? That give the players missions, help fence stuff, or whatever. You know, they provide some type. They provide the interactions for the players to get into missions and to immerse them inside the game, and so that these NPCs have to be flushed out. They cannot be vague. They cannot be two-dimensional. They have to have drives, motives, ambitions, and everything. The best thing to do, I would say, with NPCs when you do this is, you know, make yourself a couple player characters that you think would be fun, and try to make them very diverse, and then give them background, and or use people that you've played in games with before, their characters that you thought were funny or you enjoyed, and then put them into the game. Create shops. What do these shops sell? What kind of who's running them? You know, what can the players get their hands on? What can they not? Create an economy. So like what you want to do is, this is what I do, is I kind of do rather realistic. Most items that you try and sell, that you purchase from a store, you're going to sell at about 25% of its value. And you can get up to 50% of its value, but the truth is that most people that are reselling an item, they have to sell it at a profit, so they're going to sell it at about 50% to 75% of what its value is. You know, because brand new sells the highest, which is at 100%. You know, so a PC is not going to be able to turn around and buy a sword and then turn around and sell it to another person and everything, you know, and be able to get the full value. He's going to be able to sell it for 25%. And plus, this is going to afford you one very, very great opportunity. It allows you to keep control of the funds in the game so that the players don't become overpowered. So when they want to get that +5 sword or whatever, you know, that kind of end game item and everything, they may have to hawk a whole bunch of stuff and everything to get it, and you're going to want that value system in there so that they can sell it at a they can sell it at a loss. You want them to sell at a loss to gain it back. Try to keep your town relevant. I know it's just a town, and so like only certain things sell in cities. And but in towns and everything, they're going to be less prominent selling things. Give your town a reason why your town would have things that normal towns won't. And the reason why this is this allows you to keep the town smaller, easier to manage, easier to work with. You can even hike up the prices on the stuff that they're able to get and everything. But it allows them to the players to be able to fulfill whatever things that they want to do within the town and everything. But at the same time, it keeps the town small and allows you to be able to work with it. So what does the town excel in or stand out as? I always do this. Give your town like something. What does the town do? You know, in this last game that I'm running, the town has these really crazy large trees, and they have these acorns, and they like acorn seeds that drop off, and the acorns are very the nut inside of it is extremely malleable. However, once it's been processed, it has the weight of pine, but the strength of like oak. So it makes it a very valuable commodity, as far as once it goes through the entire processing system, and it makes for great super light, fast, strong boats. And so the town, because of its locale, it has a lot more money than normal, and so people can actually pick up things that they wouldn't normally be able to pick up. Stuff like that you want to think of. Um, I suggest that a road passes through your town, and that merchants on their way to large cities stop there over the night and they sell their goods. That's just my suggestion. Do what you like. Um, what guilds are present? And it's not going to be for every player, but they exist. Players have a big thing on guilds. And if the guild doesn't happen to be present, let the players start the guild. And organizations and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with creating them, extending the organization, or anything. Let them say, okay, well, you're part of this organization, or you'd like to be part of this organization, and so you'd like to build a chapter out over into this town, and let them actually head it, or get a representative to come out there and head a chapter out in that town. Um, see what religions are present. In a town, obviously, you're going to have a less amount of religions, more common to the area and everything. But it's your town, so it could have it can have a lot of different religions that exist there and everything. But there's probably going to be like two dominant religions, if not one, in the town, usually relative to the area. What corruptions exist inside the town? What is secretly screwed up about the town and everything that no one knows about, and that may allow you to be able to use it as a springboard for missions later on, or something to put hurdles in front of the players, and or something that allow players that are less reputable to be able to join in and actually be able to play out their inclinations. What activities can be enjoyed in this town? I mean, does it, on occasion, do they get like bars that come in there and put on shows? Do they have like a spring festivities or whatever? I mean, what about February? I mean, do they have like some type of like a star type of thing where people are much more likely to mate? Do they have like some type of big thing, towards autumn and everything, like a feast and everything, so that everybody gets together and has a feast and everything? But maybe they have to go hunt down these great boars and everything that exist out in the wilderness, and so that they can have this great feast. Do they have like some type of event for where the players will start in the town, and then they'll run this gauntlet around the area, and they come back, and the person that wins gets this silver cup or whatever, and like gets their name put on a plaque up on the wall as having completed it. There's a lot of different ideas and everything, but and you could bring this to life, as you go. But players like to do stuff like that. That could be a lot of fun. Um, how can the players invest in the town? How can they start their own shops? How can they buy a house? How can they build a house? How can they get titles of land? How can they start a farm? How can they, maybe create a ship? Maybe start a lumber house? How can the players slowly turn a profit in the town? It doesn't have to be massive, but just the fact that they own it and they're slowly turning a profit, they'll love it. How can they invest into the town and help the town grow, and help themselves actually be a part of the town even more? What are the crimes and judgments in the town? What what do they do in case if you get caught thieving? What do they do if you get caught? If you get into a fight with somebody else? I would suggest being a little bit more on the lenient side, as far as willing to accept money for scrupulous activities. And this way, you can actually get some of the money back from the PCs and everything to actually control the funds of the game even more because of bad behavior. So that's just my suggestion. What are the foods and drinks that are served at the local tavern? Um, this is pretty cool. I would definitely look up a couple meals and everything. One of the things I used to remember from the Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman novels in the Dragonlance was Odaluk's spicy potatoes. Stuff like that and everything. Something that really makes it stand out. Like a certain type of beer that knocks people on their ass or whatever, or just tastes great. And that you would describe it, and and say, oh man, it tastes like cinnamon spice or whatever. But it's strong as hell. And or the food and everything, something maybe really common to the area and everything. Maybe they have like their own version of barbecue ribs out there that is commonly served, or they have like a lot of different chicken platters. I would suggest you know writing up a few of the items and everything, and kind of switching up a little bit. Quick little paragraph and everything of what's being served, and just to give the people a feel for what's going on. And lastly, but what common work can be found in the area? What can the players actually do as far as being a part of the town, and as far as helping out? I mean, is there escorts needed to take them to the major city that's down the way? Is there wolves attacking the farmland, and they need someone to stay out there overnight and kill the wolves? I mean, do they need lumber moved from one area to the other? Do they need some help with the local militia and everything to do guard duty? I mean, there's no reason why the players can't have like a normal, 9 to 5 job, or every day, that they do 5 days out of the week and everything, while they're waiting for other stuff to occur. Maybe one of the players is working as a scribe for one of the major wizards that happens to reside there, or maybe one of the players works as a bouncer, or works as a barback, or puts on shows and stuff in the local tavern and everything, just to make ends meet, as they pass time. But I would put this stuff in there. They could take it or they can leave it, but you want to grow it out in depth, and give your place a feel, so that when the players are there, they're like, okay, they're really taken there, and so they don't feel like it's just, oh, this is a town and we're in the woods, or something like that. Okay, so that's my tip section 1.